Hello everyone, this is Jonathan Deep with the Deep Dive, and this week I will be introducing a new segment called Pandemic Binge, which will be a weekly video series where I will recommend to you films to watch regarding the subject matter of all things pandemic and apocalyptic. Given that this year has been a shitstorm of epic proportions, I thought I might as well recommend to you films that reflect and over-exaggerate the times we are living in right now. I'm doing this so you can watch films that not only are reminiscent of truth meeting fiction, but to also provide you with films that are equally as bleak as they are hopeful. I know that sounds a little depressing, but sometimes we all need to see things outside of our comfort zones. If we spend our quarantine time just watching Disney stuff and happy-go-lucky stuff, you're just sheltering yourself from the abundance of art you're missing out on. So, without further ado, let me recommend to you this week's Pandemic Binge, Contagion from 2011. Contagion is a 2011 thriller drama directed by Steven Soderbergh about a virus with unknown origins that plagues the entire world and creates a chaotic domino effect of media frenzy and worldwide panic and destruction. This is one of Soderbergh's least talked about efforts, as he's mostly well known for the Ocean's trilogy and his award-winning work for Traffic, and to some of you horny asses out there, Magic Mike. Contagion is a film that never feels like it's a Hollywood blockbuster in regards to the virus film genre. Instead, it takes a sort of realistic and horror movie-like approach to it. More than it is about the virus itself, it's heavily invested in its large cast of characters, with each character representing a different facet of the spreading disease. We have Matt Damon's character, who is the husband of Gwenyth Paltrow's character, who, as far as we know, is patient zero of this virus. Kate Winslet, Marion Cotillard, and Laurence Fishburne are epidemiologists assigned to trace the origins of the named MEV1 pathogen. Jude Law is also in this film as a conspiracy theorist, reaping the benefits of the desperate infected, and Jennifer Ehle stars as a research scientist assigned to create a vaccine for the virus, and there's a whole lot more characters on top of that. If there's anything that Soderbergh hasn't lost his touch on, it's his directing style, which often consists of many close-ups and vibrant shots of our characters. Their expressions of quiet panic and hidden fear of the pandemic adds to the already uneasy tone of the film. And the cinematography, which is also done by Soderbergh, who, fun fact, shoots all of his movies. He is the lone cinematographer for all of his features, but he uses pseudonyms, meaning fake names, and it looks fantastic in this film as usual. He implores a gorgeous look to his photography in this film, and it's almost as if you're watching documentary footage in 4K, which makes seeing the virus-related deaths and symptoms on screen even more uncomfortable. The contrast between the clean look of the film and the dark, depressing mood of the pandemic and its effects on humanity is fantastic. This film has been praised by scientists and researchers who say that the depiction of the virus and its spread and the handling of the situation at hand is as accurate as it can get when compared to a real-life situation. While the virus depicted in this film is obviously much more advanced and deadly than COVID-19 right now in terms of the rapid and quick death toll that amounts, the accuracy in how the epidemiologists try to trace the origins of the virus and the butting of head between department heads on how to handle the release of this detrimental information serves for a compelling watch.
The average person touches their face 2,000 or 3,000 times a day.
2,000 or 3,000 times a day?
3 to 5 times every waking minute. In between, we're touching doorknobs, water fountains, elevator buttons, and each other. Those things become fomites.
Is this something we want to release to the press, respiratory and fomites?
And how's the public going to react to that?
Hard to say. Plastic shark in a movie will keep people from getting in the ocean, but a warning on the side of a pack of cigarettes will
We're going to need to walk the governor through this before we start to freak everybody out.
Another factor of Contagion that makes it a must-watch are the realistic and grounded performances. Nothing feels theatrical, and every role is handled and performed well by the ensemble cast. A couple standouts include Matt Damon as the husband of patient zero, who seems to be immune to the disease and is trying to do everything he can to keep together what's left of his life after the death of his wife and son.
Unfortunately, she did die.
Right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Emma.
I know this is hard to accept.
Okay. So, can I go talk to her?
Mr. Emoff, I'm sorry. Your wife is dead.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw her. We were just at home.
Is there somebody that we can call? Someone who you think should be here with you?
What are you talking about?
Okay.
What happened to her? What happened to her?
Okay.
Kate Winslet is also fantastic as the epidemiologist who is in the forefront of trying to trace the virus and help all of those who have come in contact. And I also loved Laurence Fishburne and Jude Law in this film as they played two different sides of the pandemic coin. Fishburne is the voice of reason and a firm figure who can have moments of vulnerability though, as he understands the implications of an outbreak and can often allow his personal feelings to overtake the objective approach of finding a cure. While Jude Law's character is almost the exact opposite. He's an opportunist who believes the virus is curable by a certain FDA-approved medicine and believes the vaccine companies to be full of shit, and he capitalizes on the fear and doubts of humanity, especially those who are desperate to find a cure.
On your blog, you also wrote that the World Health Organization is somehow in bed with pharmaceutical companies?
Because they are. That's who stands to gain from this. They're working hand in glove.
I just love the overall relentless, uncomfortable truth this film continues down. As something like a pandemic and outbreak consumes humanity, we can become more vulnerable and susceptible to acting irrationally and inhumane. The biggest thing we can continue to do is to keep ourselves safe and not to panic, and Soderbergh does a great job exploring this theme through the abundance of characters presented, which is a tough task given that this film only clocks in at about 2 hours. The pulsating score by Cliff Martinez is a great companion piece to the pace and style of Contagion. The techno and synth style mixing of the soundtrack, as explained by Martinez, was conducted in a sense to convey all emotions of fear, tragedy, loss, and hope. And let me tell you, he succeeds in every way. The score is present throughout much of the film, and the layers of electronic sounds is a great buildup of rhythmic chaos. What I love most, and what is most definitely my favorite moment of this entire film, are the quieter moments towards the end, specifically when Mitch, who is Matt Damon's character, takes a moment to reflect in his own space and time and reflect on all that he's lost. As he scrolls through the same pictures of his deceased wife over and over again, he reflects on the countless amount of time he spent trying to survive and provide for what he had left in his life in the wake of this outbreak, and he's finally able to have a moment to finally have grief. And that's what I felt like Contagion was really all about. More than it was a film about disease and death, it was a film about humanity and how we can never let something awful, something even as unpredictable and evil and unstoppable it seems as a spreading virus, infect us in the moral and human sense.
Dad? You coming?
Yep. I'm just looking for the camera.
Good job, Soderbergh. Do movies like this. Don't do shit like Haywire and Side Effects or whatever that movie was where you filmed it on a phone. If you want to check this out, it's available to watch on HBO Max, Amazon Prime, and Hulu with a premium subscription. If you like this video, if you dislike this video, please hit the like or dislike button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought. And if you want to see more content, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means everything to me and gives me drive to produce more content. This is Jonathan Deep with the Deep Dive, and I will see you all next time.